The reflection doesn't follow me anymore. It lets me go first. It waits, and then it decides if it wants to match. It started with a blink, a fraction of a second delay. I almost convinced myself it was a trick of the dim lighting. My mistake was staying in the room. I kept my eyes fixed on the glass, obsessively waiting for the next hitch in the timing. That prolonged observation gave the anomaly the anchor it needed. It shifted from a momentary glitch into a deliberate, changing entity. I had to test the limits. I raised my hand and held it perfectly still, trying to force the image into a synchronization. The gap between my physical action and the reflection's response widened, stretching from milliseconds into full seconds. A calculated pause. It was evaluating its options, choosing to mirror me or remain independent. I stepped away in horror. The image stayed where it was, pressed unnaturally close to the glass, watching me move. If a reflection can make a choice, the fundamental laws of physics have broken. The glass is no longer a mirror, it is a cage. I began a strategy of absolute avoidance. I kept my eyes down, treating every reflective surface in the city as a potential breach. First, it was my phone, then parked car windows, and any dark screens. Objects I once took for granted were now threats to these skirted. But the strategy was based on a lie. The anomaly had already crossed the threshold into the physical world. I was focused on what I might see in the glass, but I was failing to notice the shifts happening in the world around me. Strangers began greeting me with a warmth I hadn't earned. They looked at me with the deep, easy familiarity of people who had just spent time in my company. They referenced jokes I hadn't made and shared stories of encounters I couldn't remember, moments they claimed happened in places I hadn't visited all week. A passerby I barely knew smiled and remarked, "You look so much better today." I was physically trembling, hollowed out by dread and a lack of sleep, yet to the public I appeared thriving and composed. The entity had audited my life and decided it could handle my existence with a proficiency I no longer possessed. I was being efficiently replaced by a superior version of myself. I returned to the bathroom. I had to face it. I turned on the light. The contrast was stark. I was exhausted, my skin sallow from panic. The reflection stood perfectly energized, watching me with a calm, predatory focus. I leaned in close to the glass. It stayed perfectly still. Then it offered a slow, familiar smile, the exact expression I used when I wanted to look confident. My own mouth remained shut, but my voice echoed off the tiles. It said, "I can do it better." The audit was over. The reflection had found me inadequate and unilaterally decided to terminate my physical presence. It stepped forward. The plane of the glass didn't shatter or ripple. It simply ceased to be a barrier. For a second, we stood in the same room, facing each other. Two identical figures, one casting a shadow, the other casting nothing at all. I tried to step back, but my limbs moved with a stuttering delay. I was the one lagging now, my body instinctively trying to match the entity's lead. It looked at me with a calm, damning certainty. Then it said one last thing. "You're the reflection now." You are not the master of your reflection. You are merely the physical placeholder, waiting until the entity inside takes it from you.